and welcome to Mindful Movement with AARP Alabama. I'm your host, Margie Curry, and today's session is with our certified yoga instructor, Becca Impello. Becca has been practicing and teaching yoga for more than 20 years. And everybody, we want to remind you that AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. AARP is committed to offering opportunities and information for people to stay engaged from their homes. The Mindful Movement series provides an opportunity for you to keep moving in the safety of your own home. Becca.
Good morning, Margie.
Good morning, Becca. And how are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty well. I hope you are too.
I'm doing great today. Beautiful day. Can you tell us what you have for us today?
Well, Margie, today I thought we would focus on the hips, right? So we'll do a lot of things that we've done before, and we won't neglect the rest of the body per se, but we're just going to do extra movements, strengthening, and stretching for the hip joints. These are the biggest joints in or really one of the biggest joints in our body, and a really crucial joint for staying mobile and staying active.
Oh, very good. You're right. We need that to stay mobile and active. Yes, indeed. Everybody, please remember that before you begin any exercise routine, you should consult with your physician to be sure it's safe for you to participate. Okay, Becca, let's get started.
All right. So people, just remember anything that we're doing for any part of the body, but I'll speak specifically to the hips since that's our focus. So any movement that we're making, if your body doesn't seem to want to make that movement, you have a couple choices. You can make a smaller movement that goes in the same direction. You can make fewer repetitions of that movement, and you can skip it altogether and substitute either with rest or with some other thing that you would like to do with your body. So just keep that in mind. You need to adapt this to fit your needs and your body, and I'll do my best to give you those choices and those options. All right, we're going to use the chair a good bit today. We'll do several things seated in the chair. We'll also do some things standing, and we'll have that chair available to hold on to if we need to for balance or stability. All right, so let's go ahead and take a seat. And I want you to sit in such a way that your feet can rest on the floor. So if you need to scoot forward in your chair to get those feet firmly on the ground, that's fine. You can do that. You can scooch a little forward in the chair. And then we're going to start with just some breathing to get us connected into our bodies. All right. So I want you to take a couple breaths where you inhale through the nose and try to get nice and tall with your seat. Exhale through the mouth for all. Just kind of blow that breath out. Inhale through the nose. Exhale slow out through the mouth. You might close your eyes as you do this. Closing the eyes is just a way to help you turn your attention a little more inward. Feel that breath a bit more. Let's do 3 more of those deep breaths. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. One more time. All right, and then we'll try to breathe in and out through the nose for most of the rest of the practice as best you can. All right, let's just warm up a little bit. Let's start with the head and the neck. Turn that head right and left a few times. And you're checking out, how does it feel in your body to make this movement? Would your body like you to go slower or farther or maybe back off a little bit? Next time you turn your head to the right, let it stay there. And then slowly drop that chin down and bring it across the chest. Slowly, all the way until you get that chin over to the other shoulder. And then come back. Drop it down again. Across the chest. And when you get to that shoulder, pause and then take it back again. Keep going a couple more times. Call these neck rolls. And we're just making a half circle today. It's not bad to make a full circle, but I typically like to keep it to a half circle for this practice. All right, now bring that head back up to center. And then I just want you to nod the head down and up. And here's where you can just experiment with how does your neck feel when you let that head tip back? If there's any pinching, any pain, anything that, just feels like it's not a good idea, then limit that motion or skip that motion. All right, then bring that head back to level. Let's move on down, warm up the shoulders. Give me some nice big shoulder rolls. Bring those shoulders, maybe even the arms themselves forward, and then shrug up towards the ears, and then pull the arms, the shoulders back and down. Good, 3 more of these shoulder rolls. Last one. Good. And then let's sweep the arms out and up. Now you go as high as your shoulders let you go, and then back down. It's nice to inhale as you reach up. Sit tall. Exhale as you drop the arms down. If you want to bring those arms a little more forward than just out, straight out to the side, that might be better for your arm movement. So if you find you have any difficulty with moving the arms out to the side and up, bring them a little more forward. 3 more times. Good. This next one, last one, we're going to leave the arms up. And let's drop one arm down. The other hand can stay reaching up high for the ceiling, or you could drop that hand to your head. And this is going to be just a different position on the shoulder that your body might like better. So just give it to you as an option. And then a side stretch over as much as it feels comfortable in your body. Try to push away from the chair, push away from the hip that's on the chair. And then bring it back to center. Let that arm drop down. Pause a moment as you just notice the sensation in that side of your body from that stretch. And then inhale both arms up. We'll go the other way. Arm stays in the air, or that hand can come to the top of your head as an alternative position. Take a few breaths here as you push away from the chair to get long and reach up through that side of the body, the rib cage. And then release it down. Good. All right. Now we're going to skip down and just warm up the knees and the feet, and then we'll focus in on the hips like I promised. So one leg, let's bend and straighten the knee a few times. Notice how that joint feels. The knee is actually our biggest joint, right? The biggest joint in the body is the knee joint. The hip is a close second, and the hip is a good deal more complicated than the knees in some respects. Let's hold that foot out in front now, and we'll loosen up the ankle. Point and flex. By the way, I'm barefoot today, but it's always okay to do this practice in shoes if you want. Circle the ankle around. Go the other way. Good. And then release it down. All right, other side. Let's loosen up that other knee. This movement is just a good movement to, work out any stiffness that might be in that knee joint. Knees are, characteristically can get kind of stiff on us, especially the older we get. We kind of wear them out, and then they get a little stiffer, especially if we sit still too much. Good. Now point and flex that foot. Give it a few circles for the ankle. And the other way. Good. And then take it down. All right. Now we're going to focus in on the hips. Now we're going to start with some circles. Okay. So sometimes they're called pelvic circles. So you're sitting on your pelvis. You got your sitting bones right in the bottom of your buttocks. Right. So maybe you can feel those. And we're going to just shift the weight onto one hip and then forward And then shift the weight over onto the other hip. And then you can even lean a little bit back towards the back of the chair. So circling. So really it's our torso or our spine that we might feel, the most of the movement in. But you're shifting your weight round and round the base of the pelvis, which is where the hip joints connect to the body. So this is just a way of warming it up, and each time we shift a little more to a different angle, different muscles in the hips, the pelvis, and even the back and the belly are having to work for us. All right, now let's change direction. So just circle around the other direction. Can you feel that weight shift on the different bones in the pelvis? You might discover you have a little squeaky in your chair. My chair has given me a nice rhythmic squeak with this circling. Good, a couple more circles in this direction. Remember, you can make any movement bigger or smaller, or slower or fewer as needed. All right, come back to center. All right, now walk those feet close together, knees close together. Feel free to hold on to the seat of the chair at any time if that feels like it gives you a little more stability. All right, we're going to pick up one knee and then take it out to the side. Pick it up and bring it back in. All right, pick up that other knee, take it out to the side, pick it up and bring it back to center. Now sit nice and tall. Try not to lean backwards. If this is difficult for you, feel free to use your hands to maybe help that leg. If this is easy for you, try raising those arms up just to give that torso a little more work in stabilizing, right? So a couple more times. Slow, deliberate lift. Go out, lift, come in. Good. One more each side. All right, now if you have those arms up, drop them down, pause a moment. Now, we're gonna let one leg go out to the side while we keep the other leg forward. So we're just opening up, the space between our thighs to about 90 degrees, okay? And if you wanna hold on to the chair anywhere that you can grab it, feel free to hold on. Now, what we're gonna do is work with this leg that's in the front of the chair. We're gonna try to pick the foot up and bring it to the inside of the knee, and then pick the foot up and bring it outside. So we're rotating our thigh bone, all right? That foot swings almost like a pendulum. But I try to stay grounded on both of my hips, not leaning, my torso right and left. All right, this works those rotators. This can tire or fatigue pretty quick. So if you need to take a break, just stop, put the foot on the floor, rest. This has that rotation motion of the hip joint, which is what we tend to lose as we age, unfortunately. Let's do 3 more. 2, we'll do this motion again in a standing position, so we get to practice it another time. Whew, okay, good. Take a break. Probably feel a little fatigue in that outer hip or the top of the thigh. You can give it a little rub if you want. Now, we're going to stay facing this way. So I've turned over to the side already with one leg. Now, see if you can turn that front leg so that the knee now points down at the floor. It just drops to point down. I'm holding on to the chair to make sure I don't tip out, all right? But this front butt cheek, this front hip is a little bit off the chair. Now you can have your toes tucked under like I'm showing right now, or you can have the top of your foot down. If you got shoes on, you might be able to balance right on the tops of your toes, okay? So see what works for you. Now we're gonna squeeze the glute here on this front leg so that we get a little stretch for the front of the thigh. All right, so squeeze the glute, lift up from your belly, sit tall, and maybe reach the front arm up as well for a little more stretch on that front body, all the way down to the hip and the thigh, perhaps. Take another 2 breaths here, in through the nose, out through the nose. All right, good. Now bring that leg forward. Come on back around to the front. Now we're going to set up the other way. So we start with that opening up to about that 90-degree angle between the two thighs. You've got one leg in front. Just make sure it's the other leg that you're doing. Hold on to the chair where needed. Sit tall, and let's rotate. Foot lifts up and in. Foot swings up and out. So we rotate that femur bone, the thigh bone, the big thigh bone. It has a ball at the top. It makes a ball and socket joint for your hip. And so we're rotating or spinning that ball in the socket with this rotation movement. Like I said, it's typically a small movement, okay? You may find that you can't move it all that far in one or other of these two directions, and that's okay. Just trying to move it is stimulating the joint and the muscles. But take a break whenever you need to, of course. All right, here's 3 more. Last one. Awesome. All right, now we just turn a little bit more so that now we can pivot this front leg to point down. The thigh, the knee points down at the floor. Figure out how you want to position your foot on the toes or on the top of the foot. Squeeze that glute. Keep a hold on the back of the chair if you feel you need to. Lift to the belly, the chest, maybe add that arm reaching up towards the ceiling. Good, one more breath. And then release it. Turn it back over to the front. All right, one more thing before we stand up. This is going to be hip hiking. All right, so again, you could hold on. Okay, you keep your hands in your lap, or make it a little more challenging, reach your arms up. So you're basically just going to see if you can pick up one hip and down. Pick up the other hip and down. Your foot can stay on the floor, so my toes stay touching the ground. I'm just hiking my hip so that I get a little pull up in the waist. Hike one hip and then drop it down. Hike the other hip. This may seem like a small or sort of inconsequential movement, but it's actually really functional. We want to keep the muscles here in the side of the waist that attach to the top of the hip, strong enough to move our body when we need to scoot forward and back in a chair, when we need to get up off of a chair or scoot around in the bed. Let's do 4 more, 2 on each side. Lift the hip, lift. It's also good if you're a belly dancer. It helps you with those moves on the dance floor. All right, good. Take a break. Let's stand up. All right, we're going to start by just getting where we can hold onto the top or the back of the chair, okay? If you have something else in your space that works better for you to hold on to, feel free to use your countertop, your piece of furniture, your wall. All of that would work pretty well also. All right, so let's step one leg back. Bend the knee that's close to the chair. Push the other leg nice and straight. Good. Lift up from that belly. Make sure you got a squeeze in your glutes. Optional to raise those arms up. This is our warrior 1 position. Good for the legs. Take another 2-3 breaths. Good. Bring the hands down. Step in. Switch sides. Take the other leg back. You decide how far you want to step back. Bend the front knee, the one close to the chair or the wall or whatever you're holding on to. Squeeze that glute. Lift up from that belly. Optional to raise those arms up. Good. And then bring the hands onto the chair or whatever you're holding on to. Both legs back. We're going to just stretch out the whole spine a little bit. So we lengthen back so that it feels like we're getting close to parallel with the ground, our arms and our torso. It's okay for the knees to be a little more bent here if you want. Take another 2 breaths. Good, and then bring it in. All right, now remember how we did that rotational movement seated? I mentioned that we were going to do it also in standing. So here's how we'll do it. We'll hold on for balance, although you can let go if you want a little more challenge. Bend one knee. Okay, so you're standing on one leg. You got to make that leg nice and strong. And that leg that you just bent the knee with, you're going to take that foot and swing it out and then swing it in. Okay, so swing it out. My thigh bone is not moving out and in. It's rotating, right? I'm going to show this from, just a back view, so it might be better, easier to see. My foot goes out, foot swings in. All right, so again, might be a small movement because sometimes we lose some of this rotation movement. Might give you a little sort of sore, crampy feeling on your outer hip. That's really okay. It'll go away when we stop. Let's do 3 more. Last one. And take it down. Just give it a little march in place. We're going to do that to the other leg. So standing tall, the leg you're standing on is also getting some good work. Bend the other knee, the foot up behind you. Swing that foot out. Swing that foot in. Good. Remember, the thigh bone stays pretty much perpendicular to the floor the whole time. It's just spinning, rotating in its socket. If you want a little more challenge, you can let go. Makes the standing leg work a little more. You have to work on that balance. 3 more of these rotations for the hip. Out and in. Good. All right. Take that leg down. Give it a little walk in place. Shake it out. Now we're going to work on a different movement for the hip, and this will also be another chance to work on balance. Now I'm going to just bring my chair over to the side so that I can stay this orientation to the camera. Hold on as needed. Let go if you want more challenge. Going to stand on one leg and bring the knee up as high as you can in front and just hold it there. This works the hip flexors, strengthens and tones the muscle in the front of your hip. That helps us pick our leg up when we need to pick it up and put it on a step, or pick it up and step over a curb, or whatever it is, just walking around. All right, now slowly drop that leg and take it back behind you. I want you to push your foot back, squeeze your glutes. Again, remember, maybe you let go and you work on balance at the same time. So we're going to go back and forth between these 2 movements. Hip flexion, bring that knee up as high as you can, still standing tall. And then hip extension, push that foot back as far as you can. Get a squeeze in the glute. Knee up. Keep that standing leg firm. It's getting a workout as well. Knee up. Push the foot back. Up, back, 2 more. Last one. Good. Whew. Maybe walk in place, turn around. We got to do the other side, but that leg's going to be already tired. Remember, we were working both legs with that one, not just one. All right. When you're ready, let's do the other side. Stand firm on that standing leg. Hold on as needed. Let's bring it up and hold in the front for a few moments first. This first round, we're going to just kind of hold, find our hip flexion. That's the knee up in front. And then slowly take it down and squeeze back. Get a good squeeze in the glute. It's okay to reach back there and poke. Feel that firmness in the muscle. All right, now we go slowly between the 2. Knee up in front. Push the foot back. Standing leg strong. Knee up in front. And push back. Up. Good. Remember, you can let go if you want. We'll do 3 more here. 2. Last one. Good. All right. Again, so walk in place or just pace a little bit. We're going to do one more thing using the chair before we sit down in it. So go ahead and get where you can put your hands down on the seat of the chair, or this could be a table, okay, a kitchen table, dining room table, maybe even a coffee table if it's not too low. All right, and I want you to just circle the hips, push them around to one side slowly and back. Hopefully this is going to feel good. Going to sort of stretch out some of those outer hip muscles, glute muscles that we've worked with our movements today. So slow circles around. 2 more times in this direction. Feel free to go slow, maybe even pausing wherever you feel a good stretch. All right, now let's change directions. Go the other way a few times. Good. 2 more this direction. All right, and then center it up and walk the feet back. Stretch out long for those arms. This is that downward dog. We've done it plenty of times in this series. It might feel nice, a nice way to stretch into those glutes, into those hips. Good, and then walk it back in towards the chair. Stand up, sit back down to finish up our sequence today. So sit down, and then let's try crossing the ankle to the knee. Now that may be more motion, more mobility than your hip will give you, in which case another way to do this stretch is to extend that lower leg and then cross it at the ankle or just below the knee or even just above the knee. It won't be as much of a stretch or much of a position as when the knee is up there. Okay, so that's a way that you can do this and vary it to meet your needs. And then wherever position you settled in for crossing that ankle over to the other leg, sit up nice and tall. Again, that may be enough for you, or you may want to sit up tall and lean forward a little bit. Again, we're looking for stretch in the glutes, the outer hip, maybe some of the outer thigh will feel this as well. It's important that you keep your spine pretty straight. If you have a rounded back, your stretch won't really be in the hip as much. You might stretch the low back a little bit, but not so much the hip. All right, let's bring us out of that one, switch over to the other side, figure out where you want to cross, all the way up on top of the thigh, with that leg more extended out, cross to the knee, shin, or ankle. Sit up tall. Again, may or may not need to lean into it. The sitting tall is what we all want to work towards, and then perhaps keep that tall spine and lean forward a bit. Good. And then let's release that. Come back to sitting in the chair like we started at the very beginning. Get those feet resting on the floor. Hands just can rest on your thighs for now. Maybe close the eyes or drop the gaze downward if you want. Take a few breaths here. Slow in and out through the nose. Just see if you can slow it down. Slow breathing. And just let your awareness, let your mind scan your body. Just noticing your feet on the floor. Noticing the bend of your knees. Noticing the backs of your thighs and your pelvis on the chair. Maybe linger a moment in that area of the hips where we focus today. See what sort of fatigue or just awareness you might have or notice there. And then let your awareness come up. Feel your belly moving out and in with the breath. See if you can sense your rib cage, your chest moving with the breath as well. Notice the shoulders, the neck, all the way right up to the tip of the nose now, and just follow the breath 3 more rounds. Feel the breath move in through the nostrils. It's a little cool on the way in. Feel the breath as it moves out. It's gotten warm after being inside your body. All right, now open the eyes if they're closed. Take one more breath in. Reach the arms up. And bring the hands together at the heart with a gesture of gratitude. Grateful to those hips, to our body. Grateful to AARP of Alabama for giving us this opportunity to move mindfully. Thanks for joining us today. And I think we have a survey. Margie will let you know. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you, Becca. Very, very necessary, needed session today. Challenging too. So thank you very much. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to put them into our chat. I think we do have a survey, so please take a look at our survey and stay tuned for our upcoming events with AARP Alabama. Remember, join us on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock a.m. for Mindful Movement. And thank you very much for joining us today. Bye, Becca.
Bye, Margie. See you next time.
See you next time.